And we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, fabulites. This is Angela with another edition of Notes on the News, where I share with you headlines from my news feed that so we can get a survey of what's going on in the world. And I might share some of my opinions and my thoughts about those headlines, about the article, about the subject matter at large. Hey, welcome in. Thanks for the like. I ain't even do that. You just like me. Just show up. Woo! I like that. Whether you're watching live or on the playback, hey, it's a yappo. I know you're not on Twitter because I've added you or mentioned you twice. So your Twitter game, I know you said you didn't have one, but we see. But there were a couple of things, I can't even remember now, but anyway. And I don't think you can put links in videos. Like, I don't think I can put links in your videos. But if you just go to Twitter, you should be able to check your mentions and at least get that stuff. I think it's mentions. I don't know. But I guess you don't have it set up where you get email. But anyway. So this is Notes on the News feed, commentary, thoughts, ideas about what's going on in the world based on, you know, just my personal little news feed. But it's not news. It's my notes on the news. So let us proceed. Okay. So Ryan Seacrest faces potential Oscar red carpet delay from E! Over allegations. So I'm like, delay? So what, they not going to put him on the red carpet at 6? They're going to put him on the red carpet at 6:08 or 7? Or how does that work? But what they mean is, or what I think what the article is referring to is that they are going to have, like, the broadcast is going to be delayed because they think that, you know, it's going to be some shenanigans or some, you know, hey, welcome into the chat. Thanks for the like. It's going to be some, you know, carryings on because he was accused of his stylist. He was accused of harassing her. The corporation says that they did an investigation. They didn't find any wrongdoing. So they're proceeding with him business as usual. After the corporation came out with that, someone else on the team said that they saw him push her head into his crotch and she was like, and you know, so I don't know, but these people are still out here. They not satisfied with the investigation, so they think that they might do something on the red carpet. For those of you who don't follow, it's the Oscars tonight. I don't follow. I don't know. I guess I know because I'm following my news feed. But so everybody's talking Oscars. Okay, so anyway, a Moscow city council staffer doused Russian presidential candidate and socialite Ksenija Sobchak with water in sub-zero temperatures. So it's like a back and forth thing going. She was like in a debate or a conversation, or I think it was like a debate. I think it was like a public discussion about things political with this person's employer, and this socialite presidential candidate threw water on him. Like, she had a glass of water and she threw water on him. She said, I just thought he needed to cool down. And so now they done caught her outside the hotel and they threw water on her. This person, somebody who works in this person's office. And when he threw the water on her, he was like, this is for my boss. But, you know, he said his boss's name or whatever. And I was looking on the article to see if, you know, there were two things I was looking for. One, I never knew about this whole phenomena, water. I never knew about this whole, like, water throwing thing until reality TV. I didn't realize that was like a thing. Now, I don't know if these people learned it, you know, from watching reality TV. Hey, Queen Bianca Brooks, welcome in. Go to Yappo's channel and check him out, and go to Queen Bianca Brooks' channel and check her out. And so I didn't know nothing about this water throwing until, you know, reality TV. So I don't know if they learned it from reality TV or if this is like a long-standing, you know, activity. So that was one thing. I'm like, okay, so throwing water on people is like a thing. And then the other thing is that when you throw water on somebody in sub-zero temperatures, are you trying to, like, harm them? Like, I was looking in the article to see if did she get frostbite. I mean, what happens if somebody throws water on you in sub-zero temperatures? But they didn't say anything. They said they rushed her into the hotel. So, you know. Political expert and 2 sons dead in suspected murder-suicide in Illinois. So the man was divorced from his ex-wife. He had custody of the children. And I thought that the children were grown, but by him having custody, that makes it seem like they might have been younger. I think he was 58. The way that anything was found out is that the ex-wife, who's in Chicago, wasn't able to reach him. And I guess she's trying to reach him because they have children in common. And so she asked, the police people or whatever, the officials to go check it out. And he was dead and the boy children were dead. And this political expert was an expert on presidential pardons. Like, I guess Zero's one of his big strategies or whatever. Like he pardoned Arapio. That's the sheriff in New Mexico or something, who was like, rounding up, the folks who he thought were illegal aliens and treating them like, worse than we would allow people to treat animals. I mean, we're, but just like, and just proud of it. And, he got in trouble because it's illegal to treat people like that, even in this country. That's what they say. But he got in trouble for it. He got, and President Trump is like, hey, that's my boy, so he cool. He ain't do nothing but what we wanted him to do, or, what I'd have done, whatever. So this guy is a expert on pardon. So it's sort of like, I always wonder, is Zero's plan, or is he telling people, look, you don't have to worry about this investigation because I'm going to pardon you, Arizona. That's is it Arapio? I know I'm probably butchering the man's name, but I don't have, in this case, I don't even care about getting his name right. I do prefer to get people's name right. But anyway, President Trump says Representative Maxine Waters needs an IQ test at Gridiron Dinner, and she responds. Now, I didn't catch it, but I saw that she was on AM Joy, but I was, taking care of stuff, so I couldn't really catch it. So maybe she was responding, to that. But the gag is that he out here saying somebody need an IQ test. He had inmates wear pink. Oh, Arapio. Yeah, he sound like all of these people are crazy. I guess there's all kinds of ways to try to torture and humiliate and demean people. And I guess some people are just like, that's what they enjoy doing. That's their specialty, I guess. I don't know. I didn't realize that. Was that to make them feel like they were more feminine? I read an article, and I've been looking for it again. I haven't actively looked for it, but about a year ago that said that this whole idea of pink and blue being associated with femininity and masculinity happened like in the 1940s or 50s. Like it's not like some deep-seated, thing like pink is for girls. And I was like, what? I was kind of surprised by that because I don't know why, but I was like, yeah. So anyway, yeah. Okay. Auntie Maxine, baby chimp rescued from poachers in Africa. So they had a picture, and the little thing just looks so cute. I like little babies. I was watching a video on YouTube, and these women foster puppies. So instead of the puppy staying at the shelter while they're waiting to get adopted, these women, that was just like this video was about their apartment, but the puppy stay with them until they get adopted. And that little puppy was so cute, like that little monkey, or was it a chimp? That little chimp was so cute. It's something about, babies, human babies, kitties, like it's something that happens with the way that babies look that's like, I think I read someplace that it like inspires like a softness in people. And that little chimp was so cute. It's sad that it's an orphan, and I'm like, they're taking it to DR Congo, I think. I guess there's a zoo or something there, and I feel just so sad for it. Like, who wants to live in a zoo? I mean, I guess it's better to live, I don't know. But China official in hospital after catching falling girl. So the child was in the care of the child's grandmother. The child's grandmother locked herself out of the apartment, but the baby girl was still in the apartment. I think the girl was 2 or 3, relatively young. So the grandmother got a locksmith to open the door. The baby girl is in the apartment. The tools that the locksmith are using or whatever is distressing her. She's scared. She upset. So she go out the window like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And somebody outside a Chinese official, but I think they were like a traffic cop or not, that kind of official. But they saw the child about to come out the window, so she caught the child. So the child came out the window, went over like an awning or something, and then this woman on the street caught her. But the baby girl knocked her in her head when she came down, although the child was relatively safe. But this woman suffered like concussions or something like that. You saw that clip? I didn't see the clip. So she's in the hospital. Boxer Anthony Joshua's comments on how he raises his son versus his niece comes back to haunt him. Now, I thought that was a really interesting article because I feel like this whole double standard that we have about women and men and girls and boys is like just really intense and deep-seated. I think that there are sometimes, and some of us who can see, like they used in this article, that expression that as Black folks, we raise our daughters and love our sons. But he said, basically, boys will be boys, and, my son is going to be out here, effing all the hoes. He didn't really say that, but that's kind of the intention. But my niece, she's going to be somebody's wife, so she has to be, and people are like, well, dang, the boy is allowed to go out and explore and develop his character, but the girl isn't allowed to go out and just explore and develop her character. And you've already determined that she's going to be a wife, and she 5 years old, 15 years old, however old she is, she's wife might be one of the things that she chooses to do in her life, but it might not be. And furthermore, the boy is going to be somebody's husband. And that's what somebody said. They we're not producing the men that are suitable fit partners for the women that we're producing. And I was just like, I just feel like we have to do better. We just have to do better. I mean, I think in the interim, when there's, we just have to do better. And I feel like we have to do better, not with our girls, but we have to do better with our boys. And by we, I don't mean, I think we women, but I think we men, and I can't do nothing about that. So I guess I'm saying we, like as in the royal we, as in you men. We got to do better with the boys. We got to do better. But somebody, and I don't know who this was on Twitter, was just going off on him. Kalichi Akafor. Miss Bella, dogs are allowed to walk on the street. No. Stop. I agree. It takes men to raise men. Yeah. So Kalichi Okafor, I don't know who she is, but she was going in on it on Twitter. But anyway, British boxer Anthony Joshua. I never heard of him, but now I have. But I don't feel like it's like unique to him. That's why I don't know if I necessarily feel like, I think it's good to have the conversation when people say something, and it's like an opportunity for all of us to learn and grow and develop. But I don't think it's necessarily like to attack him, because I feel like that's common. That's a common way of thinking. It's an exceptional person who thinks other ways. FBI used professional setup artists to target Black Maryland senator, lawyers allege. So Baltimore, Maryland. Now, Baltimore is the place where we have all these police. My post shirt is just falling apart. It's one of my favorite shirts. It's not going to last much longer. We have all of these police to choose from, but the one article that I've seen of police corruption being prosecuted, and we get pictures of these awful police. It's like 8 people and 6 of them are Black or brown. So this is also in that same community. Like Maryland, Baltimore, I don't know. Like, is this something, well, I don't want to say it's limited to the region, but they done set up this senator, or I don't know if it's a set. I don't really, because I think that there are different types of people. I think that there's like, I've watched those shows where they'll leave keys in a car and then film, and then whoever gets in the car and takes the car, they arrest them. And I just kind of feel like, I don't think that that's right. I don't think that that's correct. Because, I'm the kind of person who, I'm not going to get into a car. I know it's not my car, so I'm not about to get into the car and drive off and be like, woohoo, I got a car. But I feel like there are 3 categories of people. People who will do a crime, bait car. Is that the show? Yeah. People who will do crimes, people who won't do crimes, and people who will do crimes of opportunity. So if given the opportunity and they think that they could get away with it, they would get away with it. And I feel that, as a society, that's the group of people that we most have to work with in terms of as a society, that's how we grow and develop, our morality, our character, our stature is like real solid human beings, so that even when no one's looking, that you can see you're looking, God is looking, that that even if no one is looking officially, that you would do the right thing. And, I think most people fit in that middle category. So I feel like, they done paid this, FBI tempter to, hey, I'm from Texas and I'm coming because I'm looking for some good deals. And, I think the guy ended up embezzling some money, but it was like he was like pressured into it by this FBI guy. And so I kind of feel like, well, don't you have enough criminals to catch out here who are like actually doing crimes without sitting around watching somebody on camera trying to force them into doing a crime? I just don't get I don't get it. I don't appreciate it. And I saw this movie on Netflix like years ago, but it was about some people and while we have politicians and Wall Street people stealing all kinds of money and getting away with it. Yeah. Yeah, right. I saw this movie where it was a group of men, like this is like after 9/11, they were like looking for terrorists, like Muslim terrorists. And so they like went into this community, and this guy had like a nice car. It was a community of people who were like socially, economically, like not doing well. It was black folks. And so he went into the mosque there, and the people in the mosque had like a weird feeling about him because he came into the mosque like, yeah, we hate America, right? Yeah, we about to bomb America, right? And the people were like, well, we're here to pray. Like his vibration was just off and weird. And it was like, but he managed to, because he was driving a car, he managed to like connect himself to some people who thought that he was a mark, but they were his mark. So he's like, I got a way for you to make some money. And they were like trying to make some money. And these are people. And so they ended up having these people on tape, having purchased fire shooters or like advanced weaponry. Like, to me, and these were men, these are people who did not even own cars. They did not even own vehicles. They were using, some of them, bikes to get around. So the level of organization that it would take to get a car, get a gun, is like at here. And the level of organization that it would take to get like a flamethrower or whatever this advanced weapon they had it in the storage thing. This man, it was clear watching the movie that he had organized all of it, because they weren't at that, like their hustle game. They couldn't even hustle up on, trying to figure out how to survive in the society, let alone trying to figure out how to take it down. Like they just were not, that's not their consciousness. And it was like obvious from the movie that it was like set up, but you had footage of them going into the storage room. You had footage of them. That's kind of, you can't cheat an honest man. That's where the saying, you can't cheat an honest man, comes from. I have to think about that. I don't even know. Yeah, but anyway, so that's, like all of this, like I just feel like these men, they ended up being involved with him because they thought they were going to make $5,000 because he's driving a Cadillac, a nice car, nice jewelry, probably an expensive watch or whatever. They're looking at him thinking, okay, he got to hustle for me to make some money. I need money. So, and they were like in and out, and it was like he had to work really, really hard to like get them on film. But anyway, the FBI, some fuck shit, excuse my language, but that's some bull. Black state rep thanks God for slavery. She's very religious, as in Christian religious, and she believes that if she said something to the effect, I don't know what she believes, but she said something to the effect that if not for slavery, she'd probably be someplace in Africa worshiping a tree. And so, she's really, excited to be here. And I just thought it was really interesting because I think that that's how a lot of us feel on some level. I think that we have really, like, what do they say? Sip the Kool-Aid? No, what's the expression? I think we have really bought into this idea. Like, we say stuff like, well, if I grew up hearing people say, you have a bone through your nose running around naked in Africa, or like, it's just like, I feel like I've been around lots of Black people who I feel like on some level we've ingested this idea that the Europeans are our white saviors. They've saved us. White Jesus is our white savior. White Jesus has saved us. Drank the Kool-Aid. Yeah, we done drank the Kool-Aid, and I mean that's not like really a revelation. But I kind of felt like seeing this this headline: Black state rep thanks God for slavery. Now this is coming off the Griot, but I kind of feel like, is that really news? I mean, I guess you kind of want to know who your representatives are. I guess I don't even know if I really want to know. I kind of go back and forth, and usually, like, the only reason I even voted for Obama the first time is because my mother was like, "You better vote," and I'm like, ain't no black man gonna win. And she's like, "What if he doesn't win because of your one vote?" I don't know what she said, but that's what I heard. And then I was kind of like, well, I'm gonna vote, but I don't believe in this mess. But I succumb to the pressure, and she gets real, like, emotional and upset. To me, that's how I perceive it about not voting. And I'm like, I don't even believe in this, so yeah, I don't really care. I guess I don't know. I mean, I know I don't care, but it's like I don't know what else to do. So it's like, okay, well, I mean, I do know some things to do, but it's like, that's like a molested woman looking at her beautiful children and saying she is thankful for being raped. Right. Exactly. Love the child, hate the rapist. The rapist and the rape. Yep, that's exactly. That's part of the trauma of the experience that we've been through. I mean, I guess there's this thing called Stockholm Syndrome, and I don't really understand how. I don't know. I feel like I want to research it because I don't think I like that term. I think it's post-traumatic slave disorder, maybe, or I don't even know if it's just post-traumatic slave disorder, maybe post-traumatic colonial disorder, except for we're not really post-slavery or colonialization. So I don't know if we post anything. I think we just like traumatic. We just traumatized. I think it's just trauma. South Africa, Listeria. Yeah, I've read some of not read, but I heard like a lecture of Dr. Joy DeGroy. But I'm like, I still like, even the language, I'm like, I don't know about post. I mean, I think I understand the concept, but the language I struggle with. South Africa, Listeria, source of world's worst outbreak found. So I think 180 people died from the Listeria, and they say that you want to stay away in South Africa from like packaged, like ready to eat meats. But they also referenced here, because I was like, oh, Listeria. I just read an article about Listeria and cantaloupe. So for some reason, I thought this was the same article, but they did reference that 3 people had died from Listeria from eating cantaloupes in Australia. So, I guess that was the article that I was thinking about, because I'm like, cantaloupes? Solange had to understand the trauma her father experienced to better their relationship. And I thought that this was really interesting because this man is in I don't like, is news really this man is like in the public eye right now. Beyonce and Solange's father, Mr. Matthew is in the, and I guess he's written a book, and part of what he said is that he thought that Beyonce's mom was white when he met her, and in corporate America he was looking, the next status symbol for him, or the great status symbol for him, was to have a white woman, or an elite, and but this is talking about, Solange is sort of like talking about after divorce, getting her parents together, and him being constantly in the situation of being the only, and the impact that had on his development. And the impact that had on his development. So I wasn't so much, I think that it is interesting to hear anybody, to me, sort of process or start to try to process and tease apart or continue wherever you are in the process, trying to do the work to let go of the bull, to like untie the knots so you can be like, you know, like a whole human being and like let go of the stuff that's like just not true and just not real. And I think that as Black folks, we just have so much stuff that's not true and that's not real that we like are tied into, and we like hold on to it really tight, and it's really important and we're afraid to let it go. You know, it feels really important to us, like a really important part of our identity, and you know, we just have so much going on. But I was really excited, one, because I think that as a woman and dealing with your relationship with your father, or, you know, I don't know if men have this, well, you know, my husband had an issue with his mother, who said to him, if there had been birth control, you would have never been born. And baby, you want to talk about somebody whose feelings were hurt, who was fully grown when he heard that, like 50 years old or so when he heard that. And like, just, you know, 20 years later, he's still upset about it. I mean, it's like, and I kind of like, now I don't know how I would feel if my mother said that to me, but I mean, it was just like he had a lot to tease out of his, to untangle with his relationship with his mother. But to see her untangling her relationship with her father, I could relate, or doing that work of untangling that relationship. Oh no, that is not something to say to someone. Well, Medea was, her strength was not being nice. Although I will tell you this, she was not my favorite person, but my dog Bella, who sometimes you've seen in videos, loved her some Medea. And I was just like, it was a mystery to me. I mean, and it really like it caused me to look at her differently, like to really try to see like the good in her, like how Bella just, when we get to her place, she just, and she get on her lap and they, that's me, my dear, just rubbing her. It was like really something, because she's not like, she was not like the nicest, person. She said a lot of things to a lot of people that, I'm kind of like, wow, that's, but to, just to be able to untangle that relationship, start to see your parents and other people as human beings who have made some good choices, who have made some bad choices, and who are still growing and developing. They don't have all the answers. They're not fully formed. We're all learning new things, hopefully every day. So, it's kind of like, that's that unconditional love. It's like, that's her daddy. I mean, you know what I mean? He ain't perfect. I don't know. But that's your daddy. You only got one, girl. And he seemed like he been out here just doing some, as accomplished as he is, he seemed like he be out here doing some stuff. Kamala Harris calls for capital honor for Shirley Chisholm. There's two women who are trying to get I thought it was a statue for Shirley Chisholm, acknowledging that she was the first first Black woman to serve in Congress. I think that's what the story is. Tilford Ashford, first prominent African-American businessman in Wyoming. I guess first person who openly identified as African-American, because I'm sure he's not, I don't know. Violet N. Anderson, first female attorney, admitted to practice before the U.S. Supreme Court. So you can't just be an attorney and go try a case at the in front of the Supreme Court. You have to, there's some process, I guess. Probe uncovers years of racist post by Massachusetts state trooper after he shot a Black ATV driver. So, I guess what this is letting us know is that, people who might be inclined to like shoot Black people, like for being Black or whatever, that they might, be racist. They might have an issue with Black people. I'm like, what a surprise. What a surprise. I am totally shocked. Not. 50 Cent's a racist cop. You shocked too. I know. It's just, I don't know. Because, cops and firemen they're the good guys. 50 Cent's savage response to Rick Ross health scare. Now, I heard about it on somebody's live yesterday that Mary Jane. Hey, Mary Jane, on your live yesterday that I had heard that Rick Ross was in the hospital or whatever. I barely knew who he was. I knew his name was familiar, but she was telling me some stuff about him, like, you know, oh, his baby's mama was on the Queen's Court. And I had watched the Queen's Court and I saw the woman, but I didn't quite know who it was. You know, I wasn't paying close attention because I don't really care. But anyway, and she was like, and then 50 Cent said, you know, blah, 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 that he don't care or whatever. And 50 Cent has been so mean to him. And I'm kind of like, So I don't know if he said something else, but I kind of feel like saying, if he dies, he dies. Now, maybe that's like an insensitive thing to say. Like, I can't imagine, you know, going to the hospital and you visiting somebody and they sick and the family is like, oh, they gonna die. And you be like, well, if he die, he die. I mean, but probably in my head, I would be thinking, yeah, you know, he might die, because that's the nature of the life, right? We gonna die. I mean, so I didn't think it was savage. Now, if he was like, I hope that MF dies a miserable death and he can't breathe, and or, you know, whatever, then I'd have been like, oh my gosh, that's savage. But maybe there's more to it than that. Because we know, or I don't know if you know, but it seemed like he stayed, this 50 Cent stayed, you know, he does not, when you see him in interviews, he seems like very, like, he seems relatively sane, but he does not come across as like a very positive, well-grounded person. He seemed like something's not, he don't seem good to me, you know, but I don't know. A routine abduction, I don't know what that is. Oscars 2018, Get Out wins Spirit Awards Best Film. And I guess there's something that Get Out won yesterday that is like typically an indication of the film performing well tonight. And so, you know, people are really excited, I guess, because if Get Out wins an Oscar, then, you know, the white people like us and, you know, our lives are going to be better. I don't know. Or I don't know, because we all know that the movie is good. Why we got somebody else? Why somebody else got to tell us it's good? Or maybe we don't all know the movie is good. We all know how we feel about the movie. So, yeah. Say that, sis. Okay. PBS to air documentary on William Monroe Trotter, a black newspaper editor who fought against the original birth of a nation. Now, I've heard his name before, but I don't know much about him. But I know that when that film came out, and I tried to watch that film. Have you ever seen it? It was like I tried to watch it. I didn't want to rent it because I didn't want to, you know, give any money to it, even though they probably don't get no money. But that's back when there were like movie rental places. But I was at somebody's house and they had it, and I tried to watch it, and I couldn't really get through it. But when it came out, the original one, not the new one, I saw the new one, but the original one, when it came out, they had screenings of it at the White House, and you know, it was like, you know, yes, this is it. You know, black men want to rape black women, and these, you know, you elect them to public office, and, you know, this is what happens. That was after Reconstruction. Definitely after Reconstruction, because I know like what the premise is of the film, but I couldn't get through it. It was so dumb and boring to me. Now, I know in school, there was one class where they were like doing an analysis of it. That might have made it interesting, because maybe I would have been able to like find something to like connect to. But it just seems so dumb and boring. Mexico, missing Italians, police accused of handing them to gang. You've seen it a few times? So you could probably do the analysis and explain like that's what this means. But I was just like, there. And then the black, I guess, was it a white person in blackface? Because it's like in my head, the black people just look so weird. I think were they in blackface? And then they just seem so stupid acting. Yeah. And then the white woman, yeah, it just was weird. Yeah, blackface, yeah. So there's some Italians missing, and the police are accused of handing them to the gang, maybe like the mafia or the mob or something. I don't know. It just seems like, I guess there's this like whole, you know, world of like criminals. Like, I guess the Italian mob is connected to the Mexico mob, is connected to the FBI, is you know, like there's a whole network, and they just be out here, you know, I guess killing and robbing and being criminals, like, you know, not in the light, but in the, you know, in that low vibration activity. Papua New Guinea earthquake, tens of thousands need urgent aid. So there was an earthquake, I think it was like a 7 7.2, 7.5, 7.9, I can't remember, but it's been a substantial earthquake. I can't remember the rest of the story, but it seems that because a lot of the area is like it's not a big city, and then there are like mudslides and stuff going on, and so to get through to be able to assist people is a challenge because the roads are landslides and damaged roads have made it impossible to reach the worst affected communities in isolated areas. So there, it's like a few people here, a few people here, it's kind of 7.5 magnitude rattled villages and a large gold mine. Dozens of aftershocks. Dozens of people have been killed, but no official confirmation. Big trucks can't get there. A state of emergency has been declared. This is the biggest. Oh, this was the thing. I put the original Birth of a Nation right up there with Reefer Madness. Okay, moving on. I've never seen Reefer Madness. This is the biggest earthquake in 100 years. And so that was one thing. I'm like, wow, it's the biggest earthquake in 100 years. And this place is on what's called the Pacific Ring of Fire. And I just heard about the Pacific Ring of Fire like within the last couple of weeks. I guess there's a lot of activity going on there now because there was some other volcano that erupted that was on the Pacific Rim of Fire. So part of the country's northern coast was destroyed by a tsunami in 1998. Caused by a 7.8 earthquake, 7.0 earthquake. So I had to look up how to spell reefer. That's why it took so long. Are you high? So, peace and, just prayers and be surrounded by the love of God as, some people are making their transitions. And I would be rude to say if they die, they die. But I feel like some people are going to die because every day people are being born and dying. But, just lots of peace for people as they make their transition and for the communities and the families of people who are making their transition. And, it's kind of like in that type of situation, it's probably like just very, very, awful and challenging to see people suffering and, and then also in those types of situations, it's a real opportunity to kind of get back to basics, So just lots of peace to those people. I think it's a harsh thing to say unless the person is a known scumbag. But I don't know if I have an article, but I saw where in England they have something called like death. See, look, when my grandmother was she was dealing with cancer and before she made her transition, and she and my mother sat down. Well, my mother sat down by my grandmother's bed because my grandmother was like bedridden for a while, like really, really sickly. And my grandmother wanted to plan her funeral. She told my mother what dress she wanted to wear, they laid out where to take her body and everything. They laid it out. And so I guess that's like been a formative experience for me because I feel like, well, of course you do that. I guess because that was my experience. And so that way, when the time came, I've been around other people who have made their transition. And it's like, you want to do, even though the person has made their transition, you want to do what they would want. But, it just takes some of some of the pressure off, I guess. I don't know how to explain it, but, I thought that, so anyway, there's this, but people were really upset, oh my God, you planned your mother's funeral. Oh, no, she's not going to die. And it was kind of like, if you suggest it to other people and, when people, they get really upset. And I remember when I worked when I was running youth programs, there was one program that wasn't my program, but I did a lot of stuff with them that was for children in foster care. And there was a significant portion of children in foster care whose parents had chronic illnesses who knew that there was a good chance that they were going to make their transition, but they hadn't made any provisions for their children. Because we have so much problems, I think, just dealing with you know, death, which I think is a part of life. But there's this cafe where people get together, like not a cafe, but like, you know, an event that happens at a cafe called the Death Cafe. And they get together and they just talk about death. And I was kind of like, now I don't know if I want to like get together and talk about death. But the idea is to make it like less like, if he dies, he dies. Like, is that really a savage comment? Now I don't know. I think it's because we're like, you know, so like, oh no, nobody's gonna die. Switzerland TV license, voters set to reject abolition. So the people pay $500 a year ago. When my mother passed, she did the same thing before she crossed over. It was, especially at a certain age, a natural thing to do and necessary. Yeah. That's good. I think it's good, you know, to know where the important documents are and, you know, but I think at any age, you know, I don't know. And for a while, my mother would like tell me like, oh, I want this person to sing at my funeral, you know. So I don't know. It's like, and I might pass before she do. I already told y'all, I don't care because I'm going to be dead. So you ain't got to spend a lot of, you know, I feel like you should have a party. To me, if it was up to me, I feel like you should have a party when I die like that, Angela. Woo! She knew how to party. We go party, you know, like, yes, and she's gone on, like as the people say. I don't really say it, but she's gone on to glory. If you believe the people are going on to glory, then why are we crying? Why are we upset? I don't know. But anyway, I want my tombstone to say, I told you I was sick. I told you. So in Switzerland, the people pay less than $500 a year. Like it seems like to public television. So there was some move to like abolish it. Like, and they probably, it's $480, but not in their currency, but it's the equivalent of $480. And someone wanted to abolish it, but that's been, you know, but it seems like it's too public television because someone wanted to abolish it. Like, well, some of the stuff that I'm paying for, I don't even watch. So why would I pay for it? I saw this video on Facebook the other day that was talking about Ayn Rand, who is a woman writer from like maybe the 1920s, who apparently is like the godmother of the modern day conservative movement in this country, according to this article. And her whole philosophy was Atlas Shrugged, right? It was 2 books. And the covers look very similar. But her whole philosophy, according to this video, is like, you know, F everybody but yourself, get yours. Or, you know, it was like, and when she first came out, I guess people were like, well, it's crazy because we know we got to all work together and help each other. And, you know, we can't leave nobody out in the cold because we just went through, maybe it was a depression. I don't know. We just went through this and we all had to pull together. So we know about pulling together. But now I guess, you know, it's kind of like when I saw that video, I'm like, oh, well, maybe that's because they seem like I'm not benefiting from it. Right. She believed capitalism and self-interest is what could save everyone. Yeah. I guess that's a perspective. If you're, you know, I don't know. I want to say if you're crazy, but anyway. A psychologist says working out in the evening has some surprising benefits over the morning. And she put it to the test. Now, I do like when you work out in the morning, it's kind of like it sets your whole day up. Like, you know, you kind of feel like I've done this, I can do anything. And then, you know, I think the endorphins are pumping. She was wrong, in my humble opinion. Who, Anne Ryan or whatever? I think she was crazy. I don't know. I just have a whole different philosophy. So, yeah. So, you know, everybody feels like, oh, working out in the morning is the best thing. And, you know, if you can't get it together to work out in the morning and you work out at night or whatever, that's the second best thing. But this person is saying, you know, there's some benefits to working out in the evening. So whatever. MoviePass. It's in the news again. MoviePass CEO explains why a small percentage of accounts were terminated and how to make sure it won't happen to you. And you know what I realized when I've been looking at these articles? See, I'm not an early adopter because I've been like, oh, MoviePass for a while, but I'm like a watch and see kind of person, you know, because I'm like, oh, they out here terminating people's accounts. Oh, I would be mad if it take me a while to like warm up to somebody or something like really, really, truly, you know, like, So yeah, like that's why I didn't, when I heard about it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. And I ran the numbers and everything. I'm like, this is wonderful. This is excellent. Everybody should have Movie Pass. You should get it so you can tell me if it's okay and what your experience is. But I'm not an early adopter. So, and when I was running youth programs, I realized that most people aren't. I'm like, oh, we get to start this program. We get to be leaders. You get to be the young people who are at the forefront. And the kids were like, most of them were like, check back with me when it's already established. But there were some people who were like as excited by me as me by that. Like there are some things I guess I want to be on the front end of, but not technology. I don't really trust it. After spitting on black preschooler, man tells police, it's okay, I'm a fireman. Oh, we were talking about that early. See, firemen are our friend. It's okay for me to spit on you, little boy. I'm a fireman. Everyone is obsessed. Y'all hear her growling in the background? I think it's a dog walking down the street and she's protesting. Everyone is obsessed with this powerful photo of a little girl staring at the portrait of Michelle Obama. I am. I still have a 2 HD DVD players, an early adopter. When you had a new thing, you still got the old thing. You're supposed to have a new thing. They say, I saw someplace else that the little girl says that she thought Michelle Obama was a queen. Like, and that's why she was staring at her like that. I have it all. Oh, well, that's good. So do you have Movie Pass? Do you like it? Should I get it? Is it safe? Is it safe? That's what I really want to know. Is it safe? Is it going to break my heart? I had such high hopes for Movie Pass. I don't want it to break my heart. And I was wondering, when the little girl is looking at a portrait, like especially with young people, you never know. Oh yeah, that's like my obsession, because I like a good story. I like a film. I like a book. I love a movie. I love a play. All of that. But I was wondering when the little girl was looking at Michelle Obama, because little people, you never know what. Like, she might have been fascinated by the colors. She might have been I was like, I wonder what she's thinking. But I didn't think that she was thinking that Michelle Obama was a queen. Hispanic Media Coalition stages pre-Oscar protests. Enough is enough. So basically, they are protesting that there are not a lot of Latino people, Spanish-speaking people, Latinx people who are getting awards. So it's sort of like a continuation, or an expansion, or part of the Oscar so white conversation. So I never heard of the Hispanic Media Coalition. India's holy Ganges River is devastatingly polluted, yet provides drinking water for over 400 million people. Here's what it looks like. When I was in India, one of the places where I wanted to go was the Ganges River, because it's supposed to be, like a holy place. But when I heard about, I was afraid. I mean, and I know you're not supposed to let fear guide you, but I'm like, I'm not getting in that water. I don't even want to be in the water. I don't even want to be close enough to breathe the water, because it's humid here. And all of the stuff that goes on in that place, that don't sound, And I'm like, well, I hope that, the holiness vibration overcomes all of the other stuff for the people who are there, but I'm going to pass on it. The best 15 countries to live in around the world. And we've been, I think it's probably the same. This is coming off of Google Business Insider. But it might be the same. I don't blame you. There's nothing wrong with caution. Yeah. I don't know, because sometimes I feel like you're supposed to jump, like you might be blocking your blessings. Like maybe if I had gotten to the Ganges River, I don't know. Like right now, maybe I could be like, I want a peach cobbler, and it would be right here. But since I didn't get in the Ganges River, how my life, I'm just not living my best life, because I was afraid. But I don't know. I do what I'm guided to do, and you do what you guided to do, and I think it's good. But I still want to list. So this is an ongoing conversation about the best places in the country to live, the best countries in the world to live. I think most of these countries, from what I could see, were European countries, but I want that same list. I want the best places for Black folks to live, or whatever. So I haven't seen that list. I don't know if these, because these places, they be good for the white people who are going and evaluating them, but they don't be good for me or for you. Sometimes, I don't know. But that's it. That's it. Yay! And I don't have in your travels what place you personally feel is good. Ooh. I think the people that I've met who I like the best, where is is it Guyana? And there's an academic, Walter Rodney. Where is Walter Rodney from? The people that I've met who are from the place where Walter Rodney is from seem to be, and I've only met like 3 or 4 people, so it's a small sample, but they seem to be really like cool, conscious, progressive people, and it makes me want to go there. I think it's Guyana, but I don't know. I'll have to look it up. Yeah, I need to read some Walter Rodney, but I don't know, because like I enjoyed India. Out of every place that I've been, India is the best place that I have been so far. But it really made me feel like when I was going, I was just going because probably any old strange person off the street could walk up to me and say, hey, I got a ticket to go so-and-so. Do you want to go? And I'd probably be like, yes, I don't even need my bags. Let's go right now. Because when it comes to like that, I'm like, I don't have good caution, and it served me well. I don't want to say I go anywhere with anybody, but I'm like curious. I want to see. I want to go. But but I wasn't like, ooh, India is high up on my list of places to go. But it was like when I got there, when the plane landed, I felt something like I felt like I was at home. I don't know why I felt that, but that's the feeling that I had. But I hadn't had any like particular interest in India before. I didn't even eat Indian food before I went to India. Yeah, a place that does not have a word for murder or thief. But yeah, I'll think about it when I have time. But yeah, I mean, I haven't really been any place where, it seems like, every place more or less seems the same to me in certain ways. Because in India, I was really stressed out about, like I wore my hair covered, and this one woman kept coming up to me at the center, and she's like, we're alike, and I realized that she was basically saying that, because I'm black and she's black, that we're alike. And then one of the women who was like at the center with me got really upset with her for trying to say I was like an untouchable, because that's what she was. And I was like, oh, well, then we are alike. I don't know. That's like in the United States. Yeah, we alike, sis. Hey, sis. Hey, girl. Hey. But yeah, I don't know. So that's a good question. If anybody on the where do we like to go? What's our top top 3 places to go for Black people to live and be happy and healthy and wholesome and safe and thrive and prosper. And another excellent share, sis. I will work on my Twitter game. Just check your thing. Okay, that's what I got. Thank you all for joining in. Today is the best day ever, and you are the greatest. So be you. I feel so much better today than I did yesterday. Be fabulous. Be fabulous, you. Peace.